Hey, I'm Aaron from GameEnthus.com, and this time I'm talking about Blazon. Blazon is a game of medieval heraldry. Medieval heraldry is heraldry that is medieval. Now, but more seriously, heraldry refers to the design, display, and study of armorial bearings, meaning the designs and display and iconography placed onto weapons, to tell a story, weapons and armor and things of that nature, to speak a language, tell a story about perhaps where military force is coming from, where they're going, what their goal is, who they've conquered, etc., etc. To blazon arms actually means to describe them in the language of heraldry, using specific syntax and grammar. So this is a word game, but it's not a word game. In Blazon, players are going to be blazoning a shield, meeting certain requirements for placement of certain iconography and trying to earn some distinction points. Basically trying to earn points. It's a game. You're trying to earn points. You're not killing anybody, thank God. You're not bludgeoning anyone. No one will be maimed, hopefully. But you are trying to earn points by doing specific things. I've said a lot of words and have shown very little. So this is kind of awkward. The specificity will start now. So this is Blazon set up, and we have here a centerpiece, which has an iconography of what your turns can consist of. On this side, you have the device cards with the square, also the cards with the squares and all the corners. Over here, you have the tincture cards with the circle, which have circles in all the corners. There's many more device cards than there are tincture cards. That's on purpose. So this is the centerpiece here, and then you lay out 4 device cards and then 2 tincture cards. Above that are 5 distinction cards. You have to meet certain requirements in order to earn the points. You would place one of your markers into one of the spots there, and upon the first person who does it for each different card would get the most points, and they would also receive a Herald token. There's a pile of Herald tokens here, which correspond to the iconography on this side of the centerpiece. I'll get into what they do in a moment. In addition to that, each player, of course, has their shield, which goes along with the theme of the game, and every player would start off at the 0/50 point, so 0 to begin. And if you notice, every 10 spaces, there's a little bit of a bonus. So the first person to reach spot 10 would unlock one of these achievement animal tokens, which are these very ornate animals. They're all equivalent in value. They're all worth 2 points at the end of the game. But if you have preferences in terms of, I like a griffin more than whatever this is, more than this dragon, I guess. I don't know. That's up to you. And the shield, of course, the smaller shield on the shield is your point marker. So that's what you move around your points. And these cards are obviously going to be populating the shields here. I already pointed out what the distinction markers do in terms of earning value and rewards. Some of the distinction cards up here. And this right here, and these Nickelodeon-esque slime oobleck blots. Yes, I just said all that. I don't know. I had oobleck on mine. Are called abatement. And these affect placement of the device and tincture cards, meaning you can place something somewhere where it's not supposed to be, and then you can see here it says -8. You would lose 8 points for doing so, but you're able to cover up abatements, if you will. Yeah, it is somewhat of a variant to use the abatement. You don't have to, but it could come in handy. It's just every time you do use it, you are incurring potentially an 8-point loss if it stays, and it can go back. If you cover it up, it becomes null and void, but it can kind of go in and out, but it's a risk reward. You're losing 8 points to hopefully set yourself up for something greater. In terms of the cards themselves, there's an image here showing you exactly what all the cards do. So in the corners, you have the element category, tincture or device. If it's a square, it's a device. If it is a circle, it's a tincture. You have the type of augmentation. You have the prestige value, which is important. Placing cards here will allow you to, so let's say I place this one here. I would earn 3 points because that's 3 points, if that makes sense. And you're going to count those points up as you go around. And it also shows you a possible shield board position. So there's only a limited number of spaces you can put these. I like that because for people who might have issues with color and color perception, you do have a small, you have iconography showing you where it's possible to put it, which is quite useful. It's probably also worth me mentioning that the game end condition to the game is once someone has gotten all 5 distinction cards, once someone has gotten 50 or more points on their turn, or once somebody has completely filled in their board, their shield. Those are different things that can bring the game to an end. I believe as far as filling out the shield, your own personal shield in front of you, should you do that, I believe everybody else gets one more turn, assuming that was not the last player who started, I think. Also, it was not stated earlier, this is a prototype. This is not the final version. So rules, artwork, and things like that can be subject to change. But as far as core mechanics, those are pretty complete. Okay, now that I've explained how the game is set up, I'll take a couple of turns. So let's say the green player will be going first and the pink player will be going second. I believe each player is going to get 2 device cards and 2 tincture cards. So the green player is going to take 2 device cards and 2 tincture cards. The pink player is going to do the exact same. I'll get into what some of the other iconography and things are in just a second. Okay, so for the green player, these are the 4 cards that I have. 2 tinctures and 2 devices, excuse me. And I believe when you first get your 4 cards, the total prestige value of all the cards should be, I believe, more than 5. Right now, this is worth 11. This is 4, 4, 2, and then 1. So this is 11 prestige points in my hand, not points in my board, just in my hand. So I believe if the total is less than 5, I think you can put those cards on the bottom and then draw new cards. So in terms of what your actual actions are on your turn, they're both right here actually. What you're able to do is you are able to take an acquire action, which means you can draw 2 cards from devices, 2 cards from tinctures, or 1 of each. That's kind of open to you if that's what you wish to do. You also can do a Blazon action, and hey, there you go, Blazon, that's the name of the game, is when you actually place cards into your shield. So the Blazon action means if I wanted to place this card here, which is worth 4 prestige, I would have to burn 4 prestige from my hand. I probably should create some space here too. I believe the discard pile is supposed to be there. My mistake. Well, I guess I could pull these down here too. It's fine. It really doesn't make any difference. So if I wanted to put this card, let's say here. Also, placement really matters. If I place in the upper portion, I have to keep it. I have to place everything else in that row in the upper portion, I hope. There's also iconography on the shields dictating some other rules. Man, you cannot have the same tincture. I believe any of these 3 can't be the same, and none of these can be the same. Well, these aren't even, well, these 4 are tinctures. This is a device. So you cannot place the same thing in multiple places. So I'm not really ready to do the Blazon action just yet. So I'm going to undo the acquire action. So that means I'm going to take, this is my starting hand. So I'm going to take one of each. And let me show you what I have here. So now I have 6 cards. There is a hand size limit of 7. That's something to keep in mind. So I have these 6 cards. I'm not really placing them on my shield. I'm doing it so it's visible. So right here, in addition to taking the acquire action, you also can swap. So I can swap one or both of the cards that I drew with cards that are face up here. So based on what I think I might need. So I'm going to swap out this for that. And so I'm going to swap out 4 Insult Fire for, if you can see it, a dragon. All right, and that is the first player's turn. That's what I decided to do. And coming over to the pink player. So I'm going to draw additional cards. And let's see. Do I want to swap for anything? Actually, I think I'll swap this one. Because this one is worth 2. That one is worth 1. And let's see if there's anything of more value. Not really. These are both worth 4. This is worth 4. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm going to do as the second player. That's that. One thing I did forget to do was actually give each player a Herald token. Should have done that. So each player would have gotten a Herald token to begin with. So I guess it'd be apropos now for me to go over what the Herald actions are. If you look at the image on your screen, you can see that the Herald actions allow you to choose one of the 4. You can only choose one. So the first one in the upper left corner is place an element card from your hand onto your shield board using the usual placement rules and only pay 1 prestige value from the cost of your hand. If you recall, I said earlier, if you're trying to place a 5-point prestige card onto your shield, you need to discard enough cards to meet those 5 points. You have to pay for it. So that will let you do it for just one, like just 1 prestige. So just basically any other card that you have. That hopefully is a 1 that you don't need. All right, we're gonna go down in the lower left corner. The other action is to discard all cards from the display into their respective discard decks and refill. So that will let you refill the face-up cards that you see underneath the center board. In the upper right, it says take 1 element card from the face-up display or from the top of either device or tincture decks. If a card is chosen from the face-up display, refill the display. Instead of swapping out for the face-up cards, you'd have the option of just taking it. So if you need everything in your hand and you have, well, at the end of your turn, you have to discard down to 7. So if you take that on as an 8th card, you can still use it during your turn, get the use out of it without having to give anything else up, which is very useful. And then the final Herald action in the bottom right is take the top card from the discard pile of either the tincture or device deck. So if someone dumps something that you need, or you spend it on, or you spent that but you need it back, you can take it back from the discard. That's pretty cool. Okay, just for an example, I'm gonna go ahead and use the Blazon. So if I wanted to place this card, it's worth 4 prestige. It's showing me on the card itself where it can be placed, anywhere here. Let's say I put it, well, I got to commit to up or down. So if I commit to up, that means these other ones have to be up, which means I'm committing to arrangement and subordinary. If I place it down here, then I'm committing to attitude and charge. So decisions. Let's say let's say I put it here. Look at my hand again, actually. That might be a better indicator of what I should do. And it's not. Well, sort of. Let's say I put it here. All right. Now that's worth 4 prestige. Also, I'm taking the Blazon action, by the way. So that means I put a card down that's worth 4 prestige. So I have to burn 4 prestige, which kind of hurts. So I'm dumping those 2 cards. And then I'm going to place this one here. And that is also worth 4 prestige. And I also have to dump 4 prestige worth of cards. Now these are worth 5 total. You can't make change in this game. So there's no change in war, I guess. Or I don't know. Does that even make sense? So those are getting dumped too. So that is, I have no cards. So that is player 1's turn. But I did manage to get 8 points onto my board. So now I'm at 8. Just for full disclosure, after I went back and watched this, I'm not really sure if I placed that yellow card correctly, although the yellow is different than the purple that's beneath it. I do believe that the tincture logo is what is supposed to be unique, not necessarily the color of the shield on the card. So I might have done that incorrectly. I'm not ultimately sure, but I didn't want to mention it. This is not a how to play video necessarily, but I did want to at least address the fact that I might have placed that incorrectly, because the tincture colors on the cards, the tincture icons are the same, even though one shield is yellow and one shield is a sort of a shade of purple. So just wanted to clear that up. I might have done it wrong. All right, so player 2 is also going to take the Blazon action. They're going to place that red one there, and at a cost of 4. Ouch. So they're going to spend those. Those are worth 4. This is a 4 prestige card. It's been placed. And they're also going to place it here, which means I'm ultimately getting rid of that one. But at least I have 1 card left, unlike player 1, who has nothing. All right, so this card is worth 3 prestige. And I'm going to place it down here against its matching symbology and discard a tincture card that is worth 3 points and move myself down 3 points on the scoring tracker. I also passed one of the milestones, which means I get another Herald token, which lets me do some of those abilities, which I described earlier, and also get one of the achievement animals, which is worth 2 points at the end of the game. And every Herald token you ever spend is also worth 1 point. So that is sort of an overview of how Blazon plays. If I can be frank, and Aaron at the same time, I wasn't sure if I was going to like Blazon. I wanted to give it a shot to see if it's something that would click with me. Thematically, it's not really anything that I know very much about, which is okay. I do like the fact that the game definitely brings you up to speed as far as giving you a lot of the context for what you're doing, why you're doing it, things like that, which help. But honestly, I was not sure if it was something that was going to really appeal to me. Having played the game, I must say I really like it. It is a lot of fun. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this at the beginning, but it is a prototype. It is not a finished copy of the game. A lot more work is going to be put into it. But from what they sent, I mean, it looks really good. It has a really nice table presence. And even if you're not into the themes of blazoning and heraldry and creating a shield, I mean, just the rules and the requirements with which to earn those distinction cards and filling out your shield and making decisions and covering something up, maybe at the last minute, all that kind of stuff is really fun. I really liked the game. I really thought it was fun. I don't think you have to be into anything medieval knights, so none of that. It almost doesn't. If you like that kind of stuff, I guess this will be even sweeter, perhaps. But even if you're not into it, like I'm not really into that kind of stuff, I like the game. I thought it was a lot of fun. I do know that I believe there's a solo mode that's going to be coming out. It's not quite ready yet. I'm really looking forward to that. But as far as multiplayer, I'm not really a big take that person. I'm fine with games that have take that, but if they don't, I'm fine with that too. So I mean, the take that is maybe, the take that might go as far as just taking a card someone's interested in, because you can see everybody's shield, you can see what they have. So take that might go as far as just taking someone's opportunity away, but not really directly like, hey, you lose, or hey, I'm taking points from you. I'm completely fine with that. This game is a lot of fun. I like the thinkiness and the risk reward of just placing that first card in that row. You're setting the tone for everything else that's going to follow it. I like that. It gives you, it definitely carves out how you're going to play the game. I like the fact that making those decisions, I like the fact that making those decisions really play an important part in how you're going to earn those distinction cards, because if you cover up certain spots, you're not eligible. Hey, I have a card that's worth 5 points and I have enough cards to pay for it. Great. But if that's going to cover up a potential spot I need for a distinction card, maybe I don't want that, you know, and those are the kind of decisions you have to make while playing the game. So I don't know. I dig it. Like I said, I think people who are into this stuff definitely can get into it. Even if you're not, I think once you just get into the puzzle of what can I place and where to give myself points right now and then set myself up well for the rest of the game, you know, to earn the points so I can earn the achievements along the way to earn, you know, some of these tokens and other things. So yeah, that's Blazon. Very fun. I like it. You know, that's Blazon for 25th Century Games, coming to Kickstarter like now, shortly. There'll be a link in the description below, so click on that. And yeah, thank you for watching. Take care, stay safe, and be blessed.